In the 1800s, a little-known man named Thomas Edison and his lesser-known The Edison Company created the Kinetograph, an innovative, albeit bulky moving picture device that ran on electricity and thus could only be used in studio. Through this invention, however, the Lumiere brothers created a device known as the Cinematograph, which was a hand-cranked portable motion capture machine. The Lumiere brothers would then use their creation to capture moving pictures of everyday life. But these were just short recordings that had no meaningful narrative, and the novelty soon wore off. Pretty dull, to be honest. That was until the early 1900s, however, when American filmmaker Robert Flaherty, which sounds like you have something stuck in your throat, decided to tell a story with the images he'd captured. Due to the unfortunate lack of cellular phones and 4K recording devices, Flaherty, or whatever, had to carry equipment to the sum of 1,000 pounds of chemicals, 25,000 feet of film, and 2,000 dry plates. He would go on to shoot hundreds of hours of footage, but then dropped a lit cigarette, ignited the film, and lost it all in the fire. Good job, Flaherty. Not to worry though, as he made a second expedition which resulted in the film Nanook of the North, an observational documentary, first of its kind that emphasizes on the relations between filmmaker and subject. And thus, documentary filmmaking had officially begun. Prior to 1923, the only way to see a film was in the theatre, but advances in technology saw the Eastman Kodak Company produce portable projectors to allow for screenings in the public sector, such as classrooms and city halls. Then along came the TV in the 1950s, and thus everything was even more accessible. Television dramatically altered how films were shown to the public, and as a result, that decade is known as the golden years of documentary. Television fostered a desire for intimacy. The voice of God narrative style was then introduced to address the audience. These films, now known as expository documentaries. With the further development of lightweight cameras and portable sound equipment, popularity of the observational documentary would thrive, as the viewer had a more direct and personal access to the actions and words of people in their natural environments. This breakthrough of more portable equipment allowed documentary crew to follow their subjects to allow the audience to develop a more personal aspect than ever before. Skipping forward 2 decades to the 1980s with the introduction of video. Video was much lighter and easier to learn than the previous 60mm. It didn't have to be processed, required less light, was more portable, especially in hard-to-shoot locations, and could capture images continuously and much longer than that prehistoric film reel garbage. This allowed filmmakers the chance to capture more footage as it was able to last longer, much longer, a bit like Duracell. By the late 1980s, both cable and broadcast television would send documentary making into the mainstream. In the present day, with the popularity of internet and the exponential growth of technological innovation, the creative potential for documentary filmmaking is endless. The rise of non-linear modes of documentary became prominent, with huge potential and huge uncertainty. As Zimmerman puts it, never has there been a new technology met without equal parts hope and despair. Modern technology has allowed the ease of filming in locations that would have been deemed difficult, and with the fraction of the time and effort due to the ease of portable equipment. The 2004 documentary Super Size Me starred and directed just one person, Morgan Spurlock, with a simplistic idea of the effects of only eating McDonald's for a month. Sounds good to me. Thus proving that these days anyone can make a documentary just by hitting record on their phone.